The demand for Excel is getting higher. Do you know why? The reason is Excel is becoming one of the basics required skills for everyone in the corporate world. Excel is used for formatting, organizing, and calculating the data. It is used in many fields like data analytics, business analytics, projects management, and so on. Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. In this video, we will be learning all the basic concepts of Excel that will be helping you to develop your Excel skills from the scratch. Before starting the video, let's have a look what all the topics we are going to cover in this video. Basics of different outlooks in the Excel, in-depth understanding of tables, worksheets and arithmetic operations, basics of Excel and logical formulas, math, lookup and reference formulas, basics of text and statistical formulas, date, time and mix match formulas. So let's get started.
Yeah, hi everyone. So we're going to be focused today in this class mostly into the Excel. I will teach you from the basic level of the Excel to the advanced level of the Excel so that you will get some idea how to use and when to use, what are the different advantages we have by using the Excel. So let's get started so that we will get some idea and exposure in terms of the Excel format. Today we're going to be covered up with some of the Excel operations like we are going to be used as a workbook, and how does that going to be looks like, and what are the different workbook types we have, and some of the files like CSV files and XLS files, and you can also see some XLSB. This comes some of the different files we are going to be showcased in terms of whether you are in the form of IT industry or in the form of the data science field. So you probably get more in terms of the CSV files like comma separated files, or in terms of the TSV files like tab separated files, or the XLX format maybe in the Excel sheet. And we can also see some of the common uses of the Excel and what are the different advantages we have to handle it out by using the Excel in terms of maybe calculation wise, or in terms of maybe formatting wise, or in terms of to visualize the things in much better like a plotting by using the Python. Maybe you are familiar with it. And also we can do some of the calculations like a count, add, addition or multiplication. So we're going to be seeing, I can say, we have some of the different advantages we are going to be showcased as Excel to use. And we can also go with what are the different cells or the row wise and how to utilize these things, and like a formatting of the cells, along with the what are the different terminologies we use some in terms of the Excel, like a ribbon or the formula bar at the status bar. And we will also perform some of the basic operator with respect to one data set we are going to encounter. So let's get started with the Excel. So you can also download this Excel from the Microsoft Office so that you will familiarity with this, and in terms of to understand how to utilize these Excel workbook notebooks into the your PC. So this is a UI interface, I can say, to check and know about some of the what are the different alignments, or what are the different tabs we are going to be showcased here. Currently I am in the home tab. You can also see this, it's currently in the bold color, and this is a complete UI interface, I can say. We can also get and started together so that you will get familiarity with this. So you can see this is the workbook sheet I'm just open. We have, I will just explain the UI interface first, then we can go in details with respect to what are the different fields we had. So in this workbook, you can also see something called as the x-axis and something called as a y-axis in terms of some labeling. So you can see it shows as a label for this whole column. You can call it as a column for this whole complete cells, which is combined or which is compressed together. And for this column, we named as by default as a B and the C, and for the D, this is completely intercorrelated. So in the y-axis, you can see as by default we have showcased as the number of rows, which is counted by the workbook itself. We can go with many number of the rows if you are going to be scroll down. So whenever you going to for a list, like suppose for example you have a list like this, you have a couple of the data sets or data points in your data set. You can also call it as a data frame for that matter. So you're going to be showcased as a 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. We are going to be count. So instead of that, we can also count with respect to just a drag and drop. If suppose you're going to be drag and drop, it's going to be give as a count in the bottom side. You can also see here the count is a 14, and you can also see it will appear some external message like number of cells selected that contain data, copy to clipboard. You can also copy it. Maybe if you copy this, it will scroll up something. You can also see it will scroll up something bold in nature. So these are the some of the summarization skills you are just copying out. You can also paste it anywhere. Let's suppose you can paste it into our sheet. So if suppose I pasted here, so you have option for the different option. You can also available to paste here. But let me go and discuss what are the different fields we have like a UI part. Then we can closely look onto this. Okay. So in this notebook, as I just explained, we have some of the x-axis label and also the y-axis labels with respect to A and B and up to the Z. And we can also go with some of, if suppose up to Z is completed, it's by defaultly created as another columns like AA. If suppose I will go into the right hand side, you can also see after completion of the Z, we will get AA and AB and AC. The nomenclature wise, it's going to be give. So if you have more than number of the columns are like 100 or 200, it will by defaultly created like this. So this is the best way to approach any kind of the column to unique way of understanding. If this is also completed, by default we created as a triple A, and after completion of triple A also we will get 4 years. So like that, it will go and increase the size if you want to be in the formation of your data set you had. So that is the best and the easy understanding of the column way to utilize it in the Excel. And you can also see something called as below, it is which is a sheet wise. So we can this is a total Excel, and the Excel you can mention for the different sheets. Just click on this plus button, as you just appeared here, it will create the new sheet. I'm just clicking on the plus button, it will create automatically new sheet along with automatical by default names. If you want to change these names, you can just right click on this. You have option to change to rename. So let's take and rename something for test or practice. Yeah, I'm just click the test and click on enter. That's it. So if you want to rename, if you want to delete also, you can delete like this. You have option to just to right click on this and go and click on the delete. It will directly delete. So like that, you can also delete or insert the values, and you have some of the values with insert. You can also insert, and you can also move or other copy. If you have any code to view that, you can view. And we have option to protect the sheet also, like a secure way to understand no one is going to be seen. So we are going to discuss these all later. Maybe we are going to be do some of the UI part, then we are going to the details further. In the right side, you can see there is a scroll bar. You have to go in and see what are the other columns we are going to be showcased. And this is the best method to approach, and you can also use as much size you need. So some of the cases or some of the users may not be hide with this scroll bar, and some of the cases you will also drag like little bit so that you will going to be discussed with the scroll bar more frequently to use, right? Yeah, something other interesting facts regarding the right hand side, you can also see here something called as a this is just a, to show understand how does our UI part is going to be interface. So you want the page layout option or maybe some of the page breakup review. that makes some kind of the assumption to understand. If it's suppose that click on this page layout, it will just convert into like this. So you're going to be whatever the information you are just dragging, or whatever the information you're just clicking on this. If suppose I just enter as a some number, so if you want, you can also use this Excel to understand about that. So this is the page outturn whenever you need to fill up with these two sheets along with at a one time, so that this is the best option to utilize it. So we have option with page I can say page breakup preview also. If I click this, you can see this is completely different format we just seen with the page layout on also the workbook sheet. So this is slightly interesting to understood. We will also go and discuss more into the details of it. But as of now, you can see this is a user interface to get to know after page breakup. We are going to be click. Yeah, let's go and into the workbook itself again. Yeah, so you can utilize this workspace as a just testing purpose, and you can also see for understanding as educational purpose. And you can also see some zoom in zoom out option in the right corner side. So if I want to zoom in, it's going to be give as a zoom in option. If I want to go zoom out, it will also create the zoom out option to utilize it. So as by default, it will create as 100% zoom. You can also see. And if you want to go 50%, the more number of the cells you're going to be look by using this. If you want to be known, or if you want to be already know some of the values, you can also see if you zoom in. Yeah, by default it creates as 100%. So this is the best. And eventually the human kind of the nature will go into the leaks, this kind of the percentile of UI part for every system. So that is the bottom line of interface we are going to be see. And some of the cases you will also encounter with other, we can also customize it later. And we have option with scroll bar in the bottom and also the vertically, so to visualize the number of the rows, that may be factor to get more number of the rows. And let's go with the bottom, what we had, and what are the other different tabs, and what is the terminology we are going to be used for these terms. So you can see here, this is the toolbar we are going to be showcased in terms of whatever the auto save buttons and the save button. And this is the undo button. If you want to be change something, let's suppose I'm just clicking on the 0. If suppose I missed this value, but I want to undo this, just click on this undo. It will disappear this value, and you can type any value you want to be exceed. So I want to type as a EIT, but instead of EIT, I just type it as a 0. At the time, you can undo this and do the things. You can also use Control Z maybe. That will also going to be help us. Okay. If you are aware of shortcuts in your keyboard. And you have option for the redo also. Redo is going to help us. Whatever the information you previously saved, it will do the same thing. And something called as a touch or mouse mode, this is also going to be help us. You can just click on this, you want to be touch mode or the mouse mode. So the better way you can also perform here. If you want to specify with the mouse, you can directly use the mouse. If you want to specify with the touch, you can use the touch in between these kind of the tools and operation you're going to be perform on the Excel sheet. And yeah, calculation, if you want to be use some of the toolbar wise, you can customize it just clicking on this ribbon tab. So we'll come to this, how to customize this, and what are the different ways to customize, and how to add, how to delete if you don't want. There's something called as a formatting, like font formatting. You want to be showcased in the toolbar, you can showcase. If you want, you can also remove. Anyway, it's present in the our ribbon bar. You can also see that. And the alignment, you want to be showcased as a center or the right side or the left side or the bottom right or the bottom left. That will also present the number of alignment we require to do that. So we will go and we'll go and see what are the different alignments we have, and how does that going to help us to understand. Something called as others. You can say this is the customized toolbar we can also showcase. You want to be create as a new toolbar if you want to be open or you want to be saved, and some of the quick print you want to be taken or spelling mistakes you want to be checked, undo, redo, and these are some of the options. You can also utilize it to perform any other operations by just clicking on this others option. Maybe that will be makes us to assumption. And this is in the toolbar. These are the some of the operations by defaultly come, and some of the operations like some name of the file. You can say workbook name of the file in terms of the XLX format, and where is it located, and what are the different things you want to be saved in the drive or you want to be saved in the PC side. And the search box, you can also search by using whatever the values you are going to be search. That is also matter. And what are the different form we are using formulas, and we are using some of the two operations. If suppose I need to add two numbers, I'm just type add. So we have some add formulas here. We can also get it from the Google or maybe Bing search, Microsoft Edge. It directly it's going to give the browser wise, and some of the cases we will also get insert sheet or rows or mathematical functions you want to be end up with some of the mathematical functions or not. So you can utilize this search operator so that this is going to be help us to understand what are the different functionalities we have inside this Excel. And here you can see something called as the name tab. It will go and showcase as which user is going to be accessed with it. And you can also see a ribbon display here. If you just click on this ribbon display, it will going to ask as a how to read and ribbon, and also the number of the tabs you have opened with the comments or not. These are just to minimize and maximize things. All know you know that. And yeah, next comes on to the ribbon. I can say this is the ribbon tab we are going to be showcased. So in this ribbon tab we have several other operations are the display here. You can also see some of the cases like these are some of the tabs we are going to be show, and see what are the different things are available inside this. And you can also see something called as a clipboard and some other subfields or sub ribbon types. You can see font and the alignment and the number and the styles and the cells heading and editing and analysis wise. So these are some of the, I can say, some different kind of the ribbon subplots, so that we will go and see what are the different tabs consist of different sub tabs we do have. And this is the information we are going to retrieve by using these tabs. So let's go and see what are the different fields we have in the file wise. So in the file wise, this is the home tab. This is the home, I can say home tab you just opened with the file. So it's saying good evening, and some of the cases around with the new notebook you want to be go with, or some of the by default templates we had in the form, some of the like customize the schedule way or the weekly schedule way or the yearly schedule way. You can also see here some of the cases with some calculation estimations. By default we have, if you want more templates you can just click on this and search if you want. That will also beneficial to understand. You can also customize after the completion of your whatever the need you have done. Similar way we can also see a search box along with some of the tabs, like recently you opened some of the tabs like this, some of the workbooks you have opened. And if you want to pin it, just click on this pin button and it will pin this workbook notebook, and just go and see this pin tab, you will get this notebook. Okay, so some of the cases you don't want to be search it, or you don't want to be you can say searching for that file. Instead of searching for the file, you just pin that so that it will be useful to get it from beneficial. Okay, whenever you open this, it will comes first. Pin files or pin workbook notes are come first when compared to open files. Currently I'm unpinning this, so it will disappear right now. So share with me some of the workbooks. You can also share with your colleagues or the end users, so that This is going to be helpful option to visualize the things in a contributor access, or in the, you can say, viewer access, if you want to be specified there. So coming to the new tab, so the new tab it's going to be created as a new workbook for us, and it will create by defaultly the new workbook along with one name called book. So you can also see some name called as a books XLS. I just opened this today. So it will create automatically book one. If you are already having the book one, so it will create by default a book two. Like that, it will create some hierarchy way to approach that. And some of the other tabs called open, this open tab is going to be tell us which location or which file you want to be specified by using the path directory in your local system. So similar way you can see info. Info is nothing but it go and see some of the information with respect to this excel, who is the owner, what is the author for this, and some of the protected workbook options, and some of the inspect workbook option, and what is the version of this excel file, and some of the workbooks you just open, and if you want to browse it also by using these options. So this is a complete info, like a I can say, this is going to be informative with respect to some of the properties you're going to be protected or not. And the save button is going to be help us, I can say, in terms of to save the file, and by using the name or the location you want to be specifying as a save as. The print will going to be help us, I can say, print is going to be help us to print this workbook. If you want to be specify the facts or maybe the print, that will be showcased as in terms of worksheet wise. Okay. And similarly you can also share, like I said, just share with me, and also share with the colleagues. You can also share with that. And export means is you can export by using any of the options, right? Like we have different kind of the files, right, as I just discussed: CSV files, TSV files, XLS files, and also the XLB file. And we have some other files. We have different formats. We have, you can export the different formats you want. If you want to publish it, you can also publish. If you are done some of the changes in your worksheet after existing of the worksheet you had, you can publish it. Then you can save this some of the things, so that the end users or some of the colleagues may also look on this. If you have connected with your organization or the, you can say, company, maybe that will be enclosed with us. Yeah, close will going to be close this, and it open to this. Yeah, I'm currently just canceling out to just showcasing that option. Yeah, account and the feedback you can also give to the you can say Microsoft team, so that they will analyze it, and they will yeah, we can also see some of the options we have, and we're going to check out some of the options later maybe. Yeah, let's go and see what are the different tabs we have. This is a file tab we just encountered with that. Similarly, we have top for the home. So this is a major, and this is a by default tab for the every excel which going to be open by defaultly. And before that, we can also see this tab we haven't seen. We have seen this, and also the toolbar, ribbon bar. We can see this bar. This is something called interesting tab. We can also get it from this. So this status bar is going to tell us the name box we consist of, and it's going to be give as the what is the cell represented. So the name box is going to tell us what is the cell represented. Here we are just using the D column with a row number 4, right? So that's why it's going to be give as a D4. If I click F4, it will give as F4. If I click F3, it's give as the F3. If I click H1, it's give as a H1. Then it contains some of the information with respect to this cell, that is a name condition. Name box we can also call it for, and this is a formula box. We are going to be write some of the formulas, and whatever the informative values we have, it is also displayed here. And you can also minimize it, maximize this by using this. I can say by using this option in this Excel. Yeah, you can see this is going to be enter, and this is going to be delete. And if you want to be good, write some of the formulas. We will also perform some of the formulas like mathematical formulas or logical formulas. You can also do count maybe. Yeah, you can also do some of the date time frame, and format of the different things. Okay. So this is the formula box. We can also go with these some cases. And let's go with discuss with the home tab what we had different functionalities and different operators. So in the clipboard wise, you can see here something called as operator with the cut, paste, and also you can see the format painter. You want to be specified anything you want to be use in terms of to paste a different format. If suppose you have values with 2, 3 here, so I want to cut these two. I'm just cutting these two and pasting here. So you have option whenever you cut this or whenever you copy it, it will be going to be enabled here. Otherwise it may not be enabled, because until unless you don't have any kind of option to cut and copy also, it may not be possible. But it is showing some of the different options. If you just click on this, you have some other different options which going to be encountered. As we can see here, if I suppose go and paste this, so just click on this button, it just paste here. You have some other options to encounter to visualize as a data plots or the color plots and icon plots at the greater than plots, the top four plots, and the clear plots. You can also visualize by using these charts. Maybe we have some bar plots and the stack plots and the line plots, pie plots, and you can also use by using taking the sum of these. So total it's going to be given as a 2 3 because we have only these two values. Average also we can do that, and the count we have only one count, the total number of the percentile value, remaining part. So some of the cases you can also do with pivot tables maybe by using this. And sparkle lines is going to be help us to visualize the things in short format. Okay, so that will also make some assumption to some of the cases like increasing or decreasing for time series analysis. So this is a more interesting way to do in this clipboard. And in the testing options we have several other options to encounter with that. And the copy also we have some other copy as a picture. So if you want to be taken as a picture, you can also take the screen as shown in the screen and just click on this OK, so that it will go and appear the same thing. So similar way you can also format it. I can say if you just click on this cell and the format whatever the format painter you have, if you just click on this, it's just formatting, right? So you can also do with this and format the cell. Yeah, so we have several other options to do that, but let's go and flow so that we will get some idea with other tabs we have. Yeah, let's take this consideration as an example, and let's do with these other tabs. So in the next tab we have the font. So in the font you can do some customization here. So I'm just clicking this cell. We have option with some other tab called the font and also the size of the font. And we do have to increase the font size or decreasing the font size. And we do have as a bold and also the italic font you want to be specified with underline fonts. We have some other options like double underlining or on normal underlining or single underlining. We have some of the borders to encounter if you want to be specified with the bottom or the top or the left or the right, or for all the borders or thickness you want to be specified. So we have some other borders and draw borders also with respect to some of the, you can say, border grid line you want to be specified, or the outer border or thick border or the top and only for the bottom borders. So whenever whatever the borders you want to be specified with respect to the sheet, that will be fine with that. So I just want to specify it with the bottom border. So let's go and display that. So you can see this. So if I want to specify it with the top border for the three value, I just click on this. Yeah, it's specified with the bottom border and the top border. If I want to specify it maybe for the all the borders or maybe the thick outer border, yeah, you can see that. So thick outer border, it's also going to be showcased with respect to this. If I want to specify this cell, which consists maybe 89 value. So this cell I want only for this right side border. Yeah, so you can see that line, that line with this right side border. So like that, you can specify maybe so that it will make some sense to understand to the end user. If suppose there might be not be criteria, we have to be ignore these kind of the values like that. Yeah, let's delete this so that we will go and discuss these two values what we had. So it nothing to do with these borders, but just to visualize the things in a much better when compared to the visualize these things in this way. Okay. So some of the other options called we can also use, I think, fill color to encounter to fill this. So if I just click this, if I select this cell and I click this color, it will end up with this fill this cell whatever the color you want to be specified. Currently we are using yellow color, so you can also use custom color you want to be specified with the blue or any kind of the color you want to be specified with respect to that. And you can also use more colors option to customize the things much better. You can also customize the things much better so that you will get some idea. And you can also go with some of the other automatic color text which is in the form of the font sizes or font coloring you want to be encountered with this section. Yeah, currently we're going to be use no color, so let's play with the white color only. Yeah. And again, some alignment you can also see here, some center on the right side corner, right side bottom corner, and the top corner. So like this, we have some of the alignments. You can also preferable to check this. Let's suppose I'm just clicking on this. Currently, it is in the right corner. So if I click on this center alignment, it comes under the center alignment. If I click on this left side, it will come to left alignment. So like that, you will also specify it with alignment if you want. Otherwise it will be okay to by default it takes as a right alignment. No, if you want to be takes the consideration of the left or the right corner, that will be enough to uh, do this some of the make changes. Yeah, orientation wise, you can specify with the rotation, maybe or vertical. You can also use some of the clockwise, anti-clockwise, so that it will make some kind of the assumption to check with this some of the values. So if you want to specify it as an anti-clockwise or the clockwise, so you can see it went into some different format, right? So let's undo it. Some of the cases maybe we can use that, but some of the other cases you may not be used that. So something called as a decrease indent, and this is going to be help us move your content is going closer to the cell border. And you can also display whenever you don't know some of the options. This is going to be give us some of good results. Move your content closer to the cell border. Just click on this. What will happen? So this is going to be cell border, moving content to the left side border. So that's how it's going to be works out. And similarly, we have the wrap text. It's going to be do as extra long with the text into the multiple lines so that you can see all of it. So you have a text in your cell that's going to be extra text to the multiple lines. Okay, so that you can see all the text. So let's type some of the text, maybe text as sample. Yeah, if you want to be drag this, the width size is going to be increased. And for the row cell also you can drag like this. The head size is going to be increased for the row wise. Okay. So that's a simple formulation. Just click the wrap text maybe. Yeah, I can see something is happening, right? So if I click again, it went out. It coming again. It coming away. So like that, this option may be helpful to handle out with a specific kind of the wrap text if you want to be specific. And the merge and center is going to be pick up what are the different cells you're going to be merged. Let's suppose you're going to be merged with these two. Just pick up where you want to be specified, like a center or like cross. So just click the merge cells. So cells keep appearing discards other value. So let's other we can do that again maybe. Currently it's not merging out. And we can also go with the number wise. You can specify it with the number wise you want to be. Suppose you want to be specified as a dollar symbol. So go with currency. Yeah, you can see that this currency. You can also go with maybe other tabs you want to be specified with the dollar, or maybe a English format. So you are specifying with the dollar symbol so that it will be make some assumption with the $2 we are using for this product. And if you want to be using for only for percentile value, just use the percentile. It will create the percentile value for all the columns If you want to be specified in a column wise, you can just click on this column and specify it with the percentile, so it will create the same thing. Similar way you can also use for the currency. For the other column you can use, and you can also specify it with respect to the currency you need. So like that, we will use this number sub tab, I can say. So it will be going to be converted with respect to what are the other number format you need to specify with it. And the percentile value you can also specify it here directly, and some of the comma style you want to specify, like it will create the comma value with respect to that. Yeah, you can also use comma. And this is the increasing decreasing operation. If suppose I'm just doing for this, I can say this is the decreasing, and if I specified with the increasing, it will create and it will delete the cell. It will delete the number of the decimal value what we have. This is increasing, this is the decreasing format. And some styles we are going to be showcased as sub tabs like conditional formatting. So if I use this, so conditional formatting, it's going to be help us with some of the cells highlighted, and if we want to be specified the greater than, the less than, in between, and also the equals, and also the text equal format, that may be possible to get that. And the color scales you can also specify it, and icon sets if you want to be get the increasing or the decreasing, and also if you want to be specified the different kind of the icons, that may be possible to do that. And you can also see some data bars like to showcase with the different colors. This is also a very good method to handle it out with the gradient field along with the solid field we're going to be showcased. And bottom line rules we can also specify it with respect to. So we're going to see discuss in this course so that you will get some idea, I can say. In the format has a table also, we can go with some of the lighting and also the medium and the darkness to showcase with respect to these cells. Currently we are not going to the details of it. Let's go and discuss some of the UI parts so that you will get some idea. And cell status, it's also going to be gives as a more coloring way of approach in the whatever the cells you're going to be specified with it. In the cells tab, you can see this insert and the delete and also the format. And some of the editing tools, like you want to be specified with summation or the average, and you want to be go with some mathematical form computation, you can click on this and just do some of the operations quickly. And you can also specify maybe some of the alignment, like to enhance like a drop or the raw right side and the up side or the left side. This is the erase that you can usually you can use for this to clear any value or specific value you want to be erased. So clear all or clear format, everything you want to clear all of this is going to be boiled on. I'm just going to be undo it so that we use that later. Some of the filters you can also apply, like a 2Z format. You want a custom filters you want to be specified, and the filter you may be selected. You can also search by using this. You can also search here, maybe you can also search by using this. You will find these details. You can also use Control F for this shortcut to specify the search and replace. Similar way, you can also analyze the data. How does that going to be help us in terms of what are the different variables we have to be showcased, and that may be factor to get in terms of analyzing some of the data. By default, it is automated by using the AI, I can say. This is completely AI tool. It's going to be learn something what by default whatever we are doing functioning operators. So this is the home tab. We're going to be showcase something called as the insert tab also in the ribbon tab. You can see. So in this insert tab, we can go through some of the pivot tables and some of the recommended tables, and we can also display the table with the visibility so that we'll go and identify with some of the with respect to the values. And some of the illustrations is going to be help us to insert some of pictures or maybe some of the shapes, or you can also insert some of the icons you want to be specified with Twitter or maybe the Facebook, like that. And some of the icons you can also insert the 3D models, you if you have anything to do some of the rotation wise. If you have any smart or screenshots you have to document anything in your internal process to get handled by using the Excel. So yeah, these are some of the tabs we can also showcase. So get add inserts is going to be help us to find any I can say any instructions you want to be add functionality to showcase in this Excel, and which also go and allows different tasks and connect to those different services for the user regular use. Okay, and similarly we can also use this insert add similar kind of to web enhanced our. And we have chart box, I can say chart tab. It's going to be help us to plot the different different various plots in the statistical way or data analysis wise you want to be specified. And we also seen this whenever we pasting this these two, we also seen these charts, right? So here also you can perform, and you can also just click on this, it will display the same thing. Yeah. So it will create this plot for the two cells. We just selected that cells and we are just dragging that option. You can also see some other different chart styles we have. You can also specify with those chart style. You can also go down and specify with background colors. Maybe you have some different options you have to be encountered with this charts option. I'm just deleting this. As of now, we are going to be discuss with respect to what are the different tabs we have. In 3D map also, we have some other 3D maps you can also visualize. Maybe that is also very beneficial to understand. And some of the I can say speak lines. It's going to be spark lines is going to be help us to understand to choose some of the line plots, maybe the column plots. If you want to be specifying any win or loss in terms of the product analysis, that is the best tab you're going to be encountered with this. And the filter also, maybe the factor to get some of the slicer and timelines you want to be specified with the filtering maybe. So this is also much faster when compared to whatever you are doing to with other operations. And if you want to be make some of the links for the document, you can specify with this link and you can just insert that link, so that yeah, you can display that and insert the link, then you will go ahead to get it the link. If you want to make any comment by just adding the comment. Yeah, so I'm just adding some comment. Please explain. Yeah, so if you create this with respect to someone to add, so it will create something called as red kind of a comment like this. And if you just go to that cell, it will display that comment. So please explain that comment with respect to who we are going to be added and what with which time it's going to be. So like that, you can also add a comment to update the cells or to visualize someone is going to be update or delete them. Some of the cases we required to do some of the operations in the Excel format. So I'm just undoing it. So then we can also go with some text format. Maybe you I mean to insert some of the text boxes, some what are the signature line you want to be add, and the object wise you're going to be specified. The symbols wise, you can see pi symbol, and also the some of the sigmoid symbol you want to be specified with some of the other formulas like area of the circle, binomial theorem, expansion of theorem, some of the ordinal and the 11th and 12th class. You can also customize this if you want to be specified. Yeah. Yeah, these are some of the operations and some of the get to know some of the tabs with respect to the insert. And we will also go and see some of the other use cases with respect to this. But I can say we can also go with some data forming by using this tabular data what we had. So we have some sales in minute, I can say. So sales in the month wise. So you can see some of the month wise like January, February, March, April, May, like this up to the December. And we do have some total sales also after completion of all these results, along with some of the years wise 2011 to 2013. So this is a sample data set we are going to be take consideration to just understand how does our data formatting going to be help us to understand. So if you want to be do some of the data format like this, I just opened with some other sheet. So if you want to be showcased as a data format like this, you can utilize that original data frame, and I can say you can do this kind of the data formatting so that it looks very nice, right? So whenever someone is looks this, it's going to be take consideration with respect to that. So let's do that. Some of the data formatting we are going to be handled with this. So if I say I'm going to do some of the coloring, or if I'm going to do some of the use cases with respect to what is the increasing sales in a February, or what is the decreasing sales in the March or the 2012 year. So this is the best analysis wise to do that whenever you do some of the data analysis with respect to some company. Let's we can also do some of coloring maybe. So you can see some of the coloring we encounter with the high number of the sales we had in the 2011. So if you want to be specified with the high number, you can also use some of the formulas to know about the max value for this. But as of now, we can do manually. Then we can also learn how to do some of the formulas. Yeah, I think if you just drag and drop here, you will get total count and the total sum as you shown this below. Okay, so averaging value also we will get around 195. You can say some number for this, and the count obviously is the December up to December month, and the sum 2348. That's what just I written 2348 manually, and you can also specify it with respect to that, and you can also use some function. You can also see some formula here. So some formula which is going to be takes as this cell to this cell, so that we will get some idea. And moving on to you want to be specified with the max value. Just this is some of the cases we are going to be get some max value 2019. Just highlight it, or maybe, or just to do some of the text format to do red marking. And yeah, instead of the red marking, we use typically for the highlighting for the I can say green marking. Yeah, this looks very good. And for the 20 level, we have total number of the sales. I can say what is the max value here is the 300. We can highlight by using this. And in the 2013, we have 269 maybe. Yeah, this is the factor to get good number of the sales. So yeah, these are the values we had with respect to each and every, so that it will visible be very simply. You can also highlight maybe by using the color to know that. So we can use maybe dark stylish color to get to know. Yeah, so this is just very little trinkle to understand with respect to what which is a maximum sale for this matter. So you can also drag and drop up to whatever the extent we have for the file, and you can also add borders maybe. And if you want to be specified the thick line or the draw border, you can also use line coloring, and that is also fine. So let's go and do some all bordering. So this is very compressive way to analyze. Okay, this is very compressive way to analyze. You can also use for the different colors maybe, and for this you can just skip for this. I can say no border. Yeah, you can see the no border, and this is also for the no border. So we can utilize this as a heading maybe, so that it maybe makes sense for us to. So this is the headline we have showcase. So this is very looks nasty for us, I can say, and you can utilize only for outside the border. So this is very looks nasty for us to do, and some idea to understand this is the sales in the month wise. So you can specify it with different color maybe by using the bordering. And let's go and do that line coloring to do some of the bordering, like yeah, let's take some dark blue color. So you can utilize that. That is a possible way to do that. Yeah. So yeah, you can use that anywhere. I'm just adding to this and this. So you can use that anywhere. And also, yeah, this are some of the things we're going to be arise maybe. This may be not looking good. You can also undo it maybe. Some of the cases you don't want to do that. Yes, it's okay now. Yes. Yeah. No. It went into no borders again. Just click on this and click on all bars. Yeah, this is very looks good, and you can also plot to just right click on this, and you can also filter it out. And you can also filter it by using the value, or by using the color, by using the font color, by using the Excel icon, or maybe the sort values by using the small to low, and largest to small, and the top wise. So just click on this, maybe larger to smaller, so it will get some idea, right? So this is a small maximum value in this also, and in this is a maximum value, this is maximum value, but here this month is showing as year wise. Let's undo it. Yeah, let's create with this, I can say, with respect to the month wise, this is some other column we can go with this maybe, and just go and with this for the month wise. So just delete this. Yeah, we can also include this into year wise maybe. Yeah, this is some of the cases which going to be encountered, and you can also remove maybe, but this is going to be looks this may not be helpful with respect to the year wise, right? So like that you can do some changes if you want to be specified with respect to some other inserting a new row and deleting a new row. For that matter, you can also sort it out. You can also mention some comments. You can also use this right click option to encounter with lookup option to just search it. We can go with some other I can say some other tabs like draw and the page layout, the formulas, so that you will get some idea in the next class maybe. Thank you. Yeah, hi. Hello everyone. So we are going to discuss today in this topic regarding some of the lookup and also some of the functionalities and the formulas also are going to be showcased with respect to what exactly you're going to use in the, I can say, in terms of the sales format maybe. So let's go and discuss some of the formulas, what exactly the data set we have. So we have already seen this data set in the previous video, so that you will be familiar with this. So we have some of the months and also the year name, along with some of the we do have some of the, I can say, order pair links. I can say count number of the sales we are going to take consideration. So let's do some of the functionalities or formulas so that you will be familiar with it. So let's go and discuss some of the formulas like sum, average, max, and the mean, and how to do product. So by using the some formulas, okay. So let's go with the count or function or the minimum. What is the minimum value or what is the maximum value? What is the sum for that, and also the average along with the product. So I can say we need to handle the count by using this formula. So whenever you encounter to do write some of the formula, you have to first include has equals. Equals is showcase as which cell you want to be represented and what exactly the formula you're going to be handled out with the statement beginning. So if I just type count, count, so it will also show some of the other formulas with respect to count. So count A, count black, count if, count AFS. So these are some of the relative count operations we have to count formulas we are going to be showcase also. But let's go and discuss the count first, then we can go different, what are the different operations we have with respect to this. So you just enter that count. You can also double click maybe so that it will give us like this syntax in this way. So it will ask us to write which count you want to be specified with for value 1 to value a. So you can also do two ways. You can directly specify with your you can say column name along with your row number. So I'm just specified with B2. So you can see here the line is specified and the bold wise it's showing as a B2 B, and the two row as a row. And the second method we can go with, you can just directly click this cell, it will directly appear here the value. If you want to be specified more number of the values, you can also drag and drop maybe. So if I drag and drop, it shows as a B4 colon B12. That means you are specifying from B4 value to B12 value. So just give the close braces and just click enter maybe. Yeah, you can see the count is appears as a 9. So for these kind of the rows, you can also show the number of the count is 9. If you want to be specified, if you suppose, let's suppose the item was deleted, it automatically got deleted, right? It automatically the count is also going to be deleted. The item is again deleted here. The count is also going to be deleted. If suppose you have more number of the items, let's say 1 comma 2, so it may not be replicate that one because the each cell is represented as a count here. So whatever the count you have specified, that is the enough to understand. I'm just undoing it so that we'll go and discuss more in detail with respect to original values. Yeah. So similarly, we can also do for maximum value. We can find it by using that formula. So let's see this formula. So I'm just leaving the max and also including the number with respect to C5 to C7. So in this box, you can see in this box, what is the maximum value specified with respect to is 246 is the maximum value. So if I get it or not, let's check and we can close this max, and we are just taking the value from, yeah, we're just taking value from C5 to C8, C7. Yeah. So just click enter maybe. Yeah, you will get 246 exact the result what you're getting now. And also the minimum value, you can type the minimum formula along with the specified range you want to be. I'm currently using other different range. You can also specify it with all the two indexes. Maybe you can specify like this also. That is also fine with us. So that depends on us. If you want to be specified in the range, what exactly you want to be take consideration. So I just specified this kind of the range. What is the maximum? What is the minimum value? You can get it from here. So minimum values of 1 or 2, we can directly get it by using this formula. And also the summation, you want to be specified some of the summation along with some of the points you're going to be get. So you can specify in the range like C7, we are just taking consideration for the C7 to this index to this index, E10 index. So you can also specify the range between these kind of the ranges, maybe or the x-axis or the y-axis. You can take the range, and by default you can also type it manually. Like if suppose I need to type as a C82, I can say E12 maybe. So it is having some of the blanks also. It may not be considered for the to summarize these things, but whatever the values we are playing, it shows as a so total sum. And also take the average maybe. So if you take down some of the average by using all the indices values, I'm just taking the average with respect to B4 and also E15, right? So you can also take consideration with the formula and add whatever the number you want to specify. And you can also include maybe the other number, like just putting the comma, and you can also mention like, yeah, this is the average you're going to be take consideration. Just click on it. You will also get same kind of the average with respect to this indices and also the other part you are going to be take consideration. And similarly, product is going to be multiplied with respect to these kind of the numbers. So it is going to be multiplied with 102 with 175 and along with the 206. So that's a major reason, and we can also conclude with respect to that, and the value is going to be multiplied together, whatever the combination you are going to be specified. Yeah, those are the simple mathematical kind of you can say some of the basic operations we have performed day-to-day life, so that we will get some of the count and also the maximum value or the minimum value or the summation value and average kind of the value. So let's go and some more depth. We can understood what exactly the different types of the count we have, and what is the if and else, and some of the today's date, how to get it done, and what are the different terminology we're going to be use. So let me introduce these first, like what are the count A and the count, and what exactly it does with respect to the count blank and count if. So let's see, count A is going to tell us the whatever the count cells that are going to be. To count the number of the cells, Okay, so it basically does to count the number of the cells are non-empty. Those who are non-empty cells is going to be count, right? So I mean, if there is an empty cell like this, if there is an empty cell, it may not be count as consideration for count A. And also you can take count for total number of the cells what we had, including null values. You can say including whatever the values we had. And the count black is nothing but to count the cells which are in blank, like this. If there is an empty blocks, if there is an empty blank space, it is going to be count as the blocks. And count if is going to be tell us whenever it meets some specified category. Suppose it's going to be give us some specified category which is going to be included, that will tell us this is a specified category we have in this range or in these functionalities. So let's go and perform maybe so that you will familiar with this. Then we can showcase as in the formulation. So let's try with count black. You can also see we are just writing the count black, and also we are giving some specified path with a range of B12 to E15. So I'm just taking these kind of the range so that we will get some of the blank results what we had. So let's go and enter this value. So we are getting two blank spaces. One is this and one is the B2, B13 and also the E15. So this is the blank spaces we are going to be get at blank, count blank we are going to be apply as a formula. Then we can also showcase as a count A. Count A is going to be tell us what exactly the count without blank values. So I'm just taking the range of B9 to E13. So that will going to be tell us except these are the blank, and you can see specified we have a range of 1 2 3 4 5 and 1 2 3 4. So we have total 20 numbers, but it's going to be give as the 19th value because this is a blank space. It may not be count as a count A, right? So let's go and try out. Yeah, it is going to be give as a 19th value. And the count if nothing but whenever you're going to be calculated, it's going to be specified any kind of specific conditions or specific format you're going to be mentioned. So right now we are not using any specified for this kind of the results or with this kind of the ranges. So that's why it is giving as a zero kind of the value. So right like that we are going to be do count if, count else, and count A, count blank, and something called as if. So if is going to be help us, suppose let's take some conditions you are going to be apply within the range of the cells or within a cell. So it's going to be give as what exactly the true condition, and if not what will happen with regarding that. So let's go and implement maybe. So I'm just removing this for the simplicity to understand. So I'm just applying if. So I'm just typing if. I'm just double click on this if conditions, maybe if formula. So it is asking something called as a logic test along with the value and also the value. The value is going to be true, it's going to be written as this value. If the value is false, it's going to be written as this value. So logic test I'm just applying with respect to one cell, maybe this cell like D11 cell. This cell is going to be greater than 1, then my value is going to be a 1. Otherwise it's going to be written as value 0. Like that I'm declaring some condition. So it's obviously not, it's obviously greater than 1, so that's why it's going to be give as a 1 value. Let's also we can, yeah, that's why it's giving as a 1. Let's also we can write as something called as you can say within the quotes greater or less, like that. Some kind of functionality maybe. Yeah, you can also specify it in terms of like that, but you can also do maybe some greater, some kind of you can say some kind of the string you want to be specified maybe. Yeah, so like this you can also specify it, or you can also mention any number if you want, like we just said that, right? So maybe it is not taking value of the function, but this is a very good method to handle it of if else conditions. Whether it is a greater than 1, we can showcase as a 1. Whether it is as a 0, we can showcase this as 0. And similarly we can also write to check the today's date. and to know about what exactly the today's timing culture and what exactly the time right now. So just type the now, and within the braces you're going to be take consideration to check today's date and along with your value. So right now we are going to be calculated with respect to that. So you can also showcase, just type now and braces, right? That's it. This is going to be give as 26 and the 2022 and the 406 here. That is the same method, right? So similarly, you can also take consideration for today. Today function also going to help us to check any kind of the values here. And convert is nothing but as I can say, if you want to be convert from centimeter to meter or meter to centimeter, kilograms to grams, and also some kind of feet to inch to feet, some of the use cases you have to be encountered in the real world. So dollar to INR, so I mean in terms of the Indian currency system. So you can specify this convert function. I'm right now using as inch to feet. So let's also walk through this, what exactly I'm doing here. So I'm just creating convert function here. So I'm just clicking this convert function. So it is asking like a number, which number you want to be converted. So I'm just typing some number, maybe, yeah, this is D9. I'm just taking consideration, putting comma here. So that it is I'm asking by default, these are some of the predefined conversions we are going to be take consideration. So I'm just taking consideration for an inch to feet, maybe for this kind of number. So I'm just clicking on the inch, and also it's asking to convert from this number to which unit you want. So I'm just putting again comma, and I want to convert to foot. So let's do that, and let's click on the enter. Maybe it is converted to inch to foot. So 8.5 is converted to inch to foot by just taking the D9 column, right? So this is the D9 column, 102. We are going to take consideration for inch to foot. So 8.5 foot, it consists of the 102 inches. Like that, we will get some ideas and exploration with respect to this. And somehow we can also showcase if suppose I copy all these kind of the values, this is may not be take as a reference to the next sheet. If suppose I just copied and pasted to here, it may not be taken what exactly the values we are just now entered, or we just now retrieve from that sheet in first name sheet 1 to sheet 2. But as a condition, we are going to be take whatever the values we are going to be retrieve, like you can say you want to be specified exact the values you want, and also the format, like these kind of coloring and these kind of the formats you need to get. So you can maybe click on for this kind of values and number formatting, and for the values and the source, this is the paste method to apply. If you want only for the values, you can directly click this. You want only the values. If you want the some of the formulas and some of the formats, you can just click on these kind of the functionalities. So let's see this. Yeah, this is completely together to understand. We just copy paste with respect to that, right? So that is a major criteria we're going to be applying every time, and that is a major deal backs with respect to these kind of the functionality we are just applying here. And also we can go copy paste and come some of the special I can say some of the shortcuts we are going to be showcase as, if you just if you want to be showcased in terms of special kind of the pasting method, like we are just seeing this, right? So if just use control one, maybe you will be get some kind of the format cells, and also use maybe some of the special kind of the pasting method, alt+e+s, alt e yes, sorry, alt plus es. So you will get some of the special kind of pasting cells by using this. Yeah, so just a second, I would say. Yeah, so we can also use maybe control one to do some of the format cells. So with regarding that, we are going to be showcase some of the values with respect to control one as we going to be encountered to change some of the numbers with respect to different format cells, like you want to be changing the negative format or some of the format in terms of red color, and you can also specify the decimals values you want to be included. And alignment wise, you can showcase as horizontal way and also the vertical way. And wrap text you want to go specified, just click on these check boxes. And format, font size also bold or italic or regular, and some of the other font names we are going to be showcased. If you want to be in some kind of the effects, you can also checkbox it. This is a preview, you can also showcase at the time you checkbox this. And similarly, the size also, font size and the font style you can also specify along with the border. So this is some of the border we are going to be showcased, but some of the features like to encounter, which is a very agnostic features or not. So if you want to specify any color or any kind of the automatic pattern color, so that is also going to be applicable to us. And in terms of styling, maybe some of the protection you want, just click on the locked or maybe the hidden button. So if I just click on this, cell is completely changed, right? And also the special kind of the format cells we required to change this kind of value. So like that, you can also perform if you want to be do that, and also you can more specified with respect to that. Then it will be helpful to understand. Yeah, that's it, folks. We're going to be showcased in the next class, maybe for some of the lookup values and some of the other nomenclature with respect to combination of the and or some of the logical operator we are going to be showcased. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hello, Hal. So in this class, we are going to discuss something related to how to create a table and how to create some pivot tables. We have shown up to the insert table, and also we have seen the file tab and the home tab. Let's go and discuss some of the other tabs, and we are also discuss how to create the table, how to fill of some of the formats and some of the patterns we are going to be showcased. I can say we do have some of other formats to showcase. Let's go and understand what are the different tabs we have with respect to a ribbon bar. So in this draw tab, we also showcase something called as a draw to encounter to draw anything. If I click this, I got these kind of the options to drawing some of the tools like this. And the input mode, you can take the consideration as a mouse or maybe the circle kind of the thing you want to be shaped with respect to circle kind of the line draw between the dotted lines. And also you can also type with some of the erasers you want to be erase something. Yeah, you can take some of the pencil kind of the thing with respect to some of the colors and mixed colors also you can take consideration. Yeah, this is a pencil, this is a highlighting, and also this is a pen. So you can showcase whatever the respective unit. Let's take, I'm just clicking on this pen and just put it over there. With respect to that, I'm just yeah, you can also choose thickness maybe if you want to be specified in very young. So you can see I'm just drawing some line here or circle like this. If you want to be mentioned specifically, just do that. You can also erase if you want to do some erasing options. Yeah, you can also select maybe like if you can select by using the mouse, or you can also draw some circles to know about how does the radius and how does the diameter for this kind of the circles you need. So let's go and do some of things with respect to this. You can also play around by using this draw and dot tab and what are the different things we have. In the convert table, you can also show if suppose let's suppose you're drawing something with respect to circle way, but you need to convert the link to some shape. Okay, so you want to be do some of the selection operator to know in terms of the if suppose you're just typing as a pi, you're going to be do some of the pi operators with respect to that. So I'm just writing as a pi, so it automatically give as a pi symbol. Okay, and you can also erase and do some other with respect to maybe we do have of uh, BH for the triangle, area of the triangle formula. So it will directly come BH for the triangle formula. You can also do maybe with respect to any other like x square. Yeah, you'll get the x square like that. So y square. Yeah, you can also do the y square with respect to that. So you can do any operations if you need, so that you will get some idea. You can also replay to what exactly you have done. So with respect to the link to math or with the shape. And for the page layout tab, if I go this, so we do have some of the sub tabs called the themes, and also the page setup, and also the scale to fit, and something calls to how to use some of the sheet operations with respect to the page layout and the arrangements also. So in this case, we are going to be do some of the themes. But by default, this is the theme for the Excel sheet. You can also use some other themes like this. So you can use some integral or gallery kind of thing, or maybe the facet. So most of the people we use organic way to analyze some of the respective data analysis, and the rest of it also. And also you can see font size and something coloring also might be changing with respect to each and every theme. Yeah, so you can use maybe whatever the theme you want to be used. And also the same thing has a color. You can respect to maybe the grayscale or maybe some of the blue color or the warm color. So most more probably all the people will going to use as office as a by default, but you can use whatever you need with respect to all that color. The font size by default it's come maybe Arial. You can also use the Arial. Currently it is in the calibrated light. So, and effects wise you can use maybe some kind of the rotation, or you can say some reflection happened with respect to that value or the item. So that might be helpful factor to do some of the themes part under the ribbon button and the page layout tab. And the margin wise, I can say you can take any kind of the margin like normal or the wide range and also the narrow range. So let's go and plot maybe the margins. So if I click the normal, it will do some of the margins where that, and the wide is also the same for. Yeah, you can see some dots are coming here. So if I do some of the wide thing, it may possible to get good results as a margin and also the narrow side. So narrow side also we are going to be get the dots, and to looks like the differentiate between, and the orientation also landscape or the portrait you want to be showcased. Similarly, the size you need like A4 size currently it is in, and you can also select like to protect and to print some of the sheets to encounter in the physical hand art copy maybe. You can also change maybe background images you want to be specified with respect to your company's policies, so that it may make sense to understand what exactly you need. And the breaks, we will also use some of the breaks, and this may be probable to work in some cases. We'll go and see how does and where we're going to be use the breaks. And also the print titles, you can print some of the titles with respect to that. Yeah, you can use some a little bit customized function like grid lines to view this, or grid lines to not, like this. Some of the grid lines are showcasing, right? So you can use that, or maybe the print option you're going to be showcased, or maybe the headlines like H and Y, like alphabets, and also the row wise you want to be specified or not. And the bring forward, it's going to be bring forward to whatever the sheet alignment you're going to be arranged with respect to some alignment like left or right, you're going to be take consideration. So that is a page layout we are going to be handled out with respect to whatever the sheet we are just seeing. And let's also focus more on something called as a creating table. This is slightly interesting idea. We will also go and see what are the other tabs we have, but let's go and see this, how to create this table and what are the different format cells we have, and some of the patterns how to encounter that. So I can say if you want to be create a table, you can directly go and draw some. I think I can say go and do some of the insert. So insert, we have a table. So just click on this table maybe, or else you can select some of the cells to specify where you want to be create tables. I'm wanting to create table here. So if I click this, it will ask me total number of the I can say from B28 to and the G43, right? So it's specifying as a B28 to G43 where exactly the data table you want to be specified here. I'm just clicking OK to create a table. By defaultly, I create one tab called the tab table design. So in this table design, you can also showcase so many options. So first tab is going to be naming conventions. We are going to be handle it out. And second thing is that tools wise, we are going to be take consideration as a duplicate to remove, maybe summarization about pivot table, and maybe to export in terms of CSV or any other point like a SharePoint to export that. And also we do have some styling options to encounter with the header you want or total number of the count results, and also the style formats you want to be specified here with respect to the coloring styles. Yeah, by default it's going to be create like this. It's also contains some of the coloring nature along with the filtering buttons, and you can also see we have the filtering buttons with respect to the each and every column. By default it's going to be created as a column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6. So whatever the columns you're going to be specifying, we can also maybe drag down or drag off for this kind of the tables. This makes sense to do some of the other values to decrease or increase. You can also do maybe right side. Yeah, this is also going to be works out with respect to table. So let's go and some insert some of the values maybe. So I'm just taking these kind of the values, just copying and pasting to the some other field, and this field also maybe this field. I'm just inserting some of the values so that we will do some of the calculations if possible to do that with respect to this table. Yeah, I'm just doing some of the calculation how to analyze and what are the filters we have. You can also use filtering options to encounter to know that. So that might be case to increase your I can say readability of each and every column or in specified manner. So let's go and do with respect to this table. Maybe this is a possible way to do that. And yeah, just a second. Yeah. So I have already created some of the format cells. You can also see if I just click something with respect to one value, and I will also type 2 value in the bottom. I will also type 3 value. So what will happen in the Excel? It is automated tool with respect to understand some of the patterns, or maybe you can say some of the format cells we are going to be encounter. So if I just drag and drop to some other extent or some other extent fields, it will automatically come the sequence manner. So let's do that. So if I just drag and drop with respect to some of the other columns, so it will just drag with respect to what exactly we have written for the first three cells. So it will run automatically. We are just differing between the one value between these kind of the two results, and also it is mentioning as a sequentially from 1 to 10 values. And you can also specify with respect to something called as a January month wise maybe. So I'm just putting as a Jan, and in the formation you can also mention as a Feb. So it will learn automatically to showcase as a March and the April and also the June up to the December wise. It's going to be same after December also. It's going to be give as the same meaning for the Jan and again the Feb and also the March and the May, like that. So you can also mention with respect to week wise like Sunday and maybe the Monday. So with respect to this also, it's going to be automatically learn what exactly you are going to be written in this format. So this is a basic analysis to know about if you don't want to be write some of these kind of the weekdays or the month days. with respect to that. You can also get first, second, third, fourth, like this. So you want to be take consideration as the first digit or the first ranked the first digits kind of the thing in the product sales, or maybe somehow you're going to be do some of the analysis. So you will also, yeah, you will also eventually get Monday, Tuesday, and the sequence is going to be written. If suppose we are just differing with one value, you can also differ with maybe three value. If suppose 4 - 1 is a 3, so it will learn automatically the pattern around what exactly you are going to be do inside this. And let's also play around with this data. Yeah, we just insert these kind of the data into this created new table, right? So just play around with data. I'm just assuming to play around with the value called, I'm just clicking on this value. So I can say this is automatically taking that value with respect to what exactly we need. And if you want to be showcased in terms of this value to enter here, so I'm just putting, just a second. Yeah, I'm just putting here, and then I need to remove this. Yeah, so I'm just putting here the value to encounter as a Europe. So let's like equals, and this value to Europe. So it will come automatically to showcase as a Europe. You can also specify it with respect to that. So that will be make some kind of the idea. And you can also will get something called as a table one. The table one itself, we do have for this kind of the data. So you can also specify it with respect to this, so that will be beneficial to understand what exactly the table name and what are the column name we require to do that. So just click on the tables design maybe. So you can change the table as a test for this kind of table name, test one. So by default, it's going to be created as a test one now. So if I just click on this table, maybe if I just click on this table, so it will automatically create as a table with respect to that column. So you can see the table name and what is the header name and what is column name we do going to be showcased. So we do have so many operations with respect to the table design, and we can also play around with kind of the data with respect to filtering sizes, and you can also see some header to know you can delete those headers, and total number of the rows you want to be specified is comes under below of this kind of thing. And banded rows you can also specify it with respect to whatever the table you created just now. Yeah, you can also design as you want, like coloring, maybe some of the cases with respect to, and you can also filter button, remove if you need, and the first column. So like a bold color and the large column to enhance the more in terms of analysis wise. Yeah, refresh by using the refresh all, so it will refresh all the values. So like that, yeah, this is a very important operation, right? So just select this table and remove some of the duplicates. So it calculates some of the duplicates we have because we already inserted some of the values with respect to that. So then select all and just click on OK. We have only one duplicate and 15 unique values in. So the value is deleted. The duplicate value is deleted right now. So you can also undo that. Yeah, we got the other value with respect to that. So we can do some of the operations like this. We can also more focus on some of the tabs we do have. Then I can say we are going to be wrap up with some of the tabs, and then we can focus more on the how to write the functionalities and what are the different workbook spaces we are going to be handling it out. And we can also see some of the formatting cells and how to sort and advancing filtering we do have. And then we can also go with the pivot tables. How does that going to be help us to do some of the analysis, and some of the other formulas, like this number of the formulas we are going to be showcased, and rank wise, match, offset, and address. Yeah, thank you. So we have already seen some of the logical formation with respect to different operators we have in the Excel. is is also the one very interesting, I can say, the logical operator in the Excel we are going to be handled on. So the he's consists of different terminologies with respect to formula bar we are going to be showcased. So this is a major standard approaches we are going to be follow with the ease. Something called as the ease blank and the ease error, ease NA, or you can also call it as ease null with that matter, and ease number, ease odd, ease even, ease exist. So these are some specific whenever we are going to be showcase each one of them, we are going to be discuss in detail way of approach. The ease is going to be help us with respect to whether a condition is true or not. It depends on some of the outcomes. So I'm just specifying here something called as a5 is equal to 2 and a6 is equal to 1 and a7 is equal to hello. So let's perform these operators with respect to the is blank, is error, is na, is number, or is odd. Some of the operators with respect to the is family. So let's look on to the is blank. I'm just performing as A2. It consists of nothing, okay? So we are just representing as a blank statement whether it's going to be written any value according to that or not. So currently it is a blank statement. That's the reason we are getting as a true condition. It's going to check whether it is a blank value or not. If it is a blank value, it's going to give as a value of true. If it is a not blank, it's going to be given value as a false. Similarly, we have something called as the is error. So we have done some statement with respect to what we seen in the if error, right? So with respect to the is error, we are going to be get any kind of the error in the value itself. It's going to be specified with corresponding to that. So if it is a error value, we are going to be get as a true. If it is not error value, we're going to be get it as a false. Similarly, we are going to be showcased as a is NA. NA nothing but whenever we encounter some of the missing values or null values or zero values, or you can say you're going to be handled with some of the data analysis or the data modeling. This type of information is going to be retrieved by using the SQL. And is number, this is also very interesting operator in the logical operator they have in the is formula family. So is going to be represented whether the whether the value is a number or not, and is odd, this is an odd value or not. It's going to check out that is even, is also going to check out whether it's even number or not. If it is not even number, it's going to be make it as a false state. Is text, it's going to check whether the value is a text or not. So if the value is not text, in the this is going to be given as a false statement. These are very simple and interesting, very elegant logical operators we are going to be handed out in the Excel. So these are very interestingly, I can say, very interestingly showcased whenever we encounter some of the column names in the Excel wise. And we can also go and see about some of the lookup values and some of the logical operators we have only with the respect to the Excel. So I have given some of the data frame here with respect to some sales persons and the quarter and also the sales. So we have some formulation with respect to the VLOOKUP. So let's go and understand how does that going to be help us. So VLOOKUP, it's going to be help us whenever you look some of the value in a vertical list. Okay, so I'm just looking on these values as a vertical list. Once it has stopped, or you can say once it has going to be taken any kind of the value, it would be at the row, or maybe it would be that any column, and return the value specified to the column number. So VLOOKUP is going to be help us with the syntax VLOOKUP lookup underscore value, and the table array you are going to be showcased which in the range of the table array, and the column index also is going to be specified with corresponding to that. Then we will eventually get some of the values with respect to the VLOOKUP. So let's go and perform. So these are some of the simple example to analyze with this formula. So VLOOKUP I'm just typing with corresponding lookup value I'm taking as a Tom here, and the array, you can say table array, I'm just taking specifying from A3 range to C5 range, from here to here. Okay, so I'm also taking the column index is equal to 2, and you can also say that I'm also taking the range lookup value is FA to the FL false statement. I'm just taking consideration, and the result is showing as a Q423, right? So Q424, this one we are getting. So how does it going to be help us? So we are just showcasing as a lookup value is Tom, and we are selecting from this range to this range, the A3 to C5 range, it will go and check in what is the value for corresponding to the lookup value, and what exactly the column index we are going to be specified. This is a zeros column index, this is first column index, this is second column index. The value is this one for the quarter. And similarly, we are just representing as a quarter value, right? To showcase in lookup and the return sum of the quarter value with the corresponding to the term value. And similarly, you can also see that we look up Tom, and also you can see A3 to EC5, same serial we are just specifying. So this is a column index 0, and or you can also make it as a 1 and a 2 and a 3. So we are specifying with respect to the column index 3. So it gives as 1, 2, 3. This the value range with respect to the Tom is 3000. So that's the reason we are getting the 3000. And here we are, instead of taking the Tom, we are taking as a lookup value is 1500. So 1500 is not present here anymore. But we are checking with respect to some table array C3 to C5. C3 to C5. This is the range we are just specified corresponding to check that. And we also specified the column index name as 1. So the 1 is obviously 1000. So it may be present the larger value when compared to the whatever the lookup value we have. So what it exactly does, it go and check about the 1500 in our C3 to C5 range, and it will also return some the largest value the similar than the lookup value what we have. And then the list is going to be sorted in the ascending order, and or else it's going to be very long, and we can also get as a false conditions maybe. And the VLOOKUP, we are just specifying with the 1500, and we are just taking consideration C3 to C5 in the range. And the column index, you are going to be taken as a 1, right? So this is a 1 column index we are going to be represented. And we can also make it as a range lookup value is a false. So what will happen? What will in this case exact does not match, right? So it is not match the value, it's going to be given as error value. We are not any specified with the corresponding to the lookup range, right? So that's the reason we are getting as a missing value, you can say. And similarly, we are just taking care of the T. Okay, so T is going to be represented as a lookup value, and the range table array we are going to be specified as a A3 and C5, and the column index we are just showcasing as a 3, and similarly the range lookup is going to make it as a true conditions. So what will happen, it's going to check about the T in Arjun firstly, and Jane and Tom, and it's going to be settled for the Jane. Okay, it's going to be settled for the Jane, as Tom has already highest value, as Tom is already highest value when compared to that. So what will happen, return the value of, it will return the value of the second row from the third. It will return the value of the second row of from the third. So that is the reason we are getting the 2000 value here. Similarly, we have something called as a HLOOKUP. When compared to the VLOOKUP, the basic difference between these two is we are just handling with the row index. That's it. So based on whatever the key matching we had used by the cell, it will go and return the value based on the row number specified. Instead of the taking column number specified, we are just taking care of the row number specified. So yeah, let's go and understand, since syntax is very similar when compared to the VLOOKUP and also the HLOOKUP. Let's go and see the example, what exactly they are going to be does. HLOOKUP I have as declared, it will go and search with the apple. This is a lookup value, and the table array was specified with the B2 to D3. So this is a B2, and the D3 is almost with this side. So these are the values we are going to be specified with corresponding to that. And also we have mentioned as a row index, and also the range lookup as a false. So what will happen? It's going and check about the row index cells or row number specified according to the HLOOKUP. It will go and identify the apple firstly, and what exactly the apple does, and what is the ratio between that. So it will go and identify with respect to the row value, that is 10. So that is the reason we are getting as a 10 result. So it will return whatever the apple spotted, or you can say whatever the apple consists of that number, returning that value from the second row. And similarly, if you mention by using the different range, so we are just taking the range from B3 to D4. That means, yeah, so currently the D4 we are going to be specified. So in this case, what will happen? It will return the price of the apple. Okay, it will return some price of the apple. But what will happen? The position and the spotted position of the apple is listing going to return the same price of the third row. We are mentioned as a third row, right? So when compared to the row count and also the column count. Similarly, HLOOKUP, we are just considering as a B. B is going to be a lookup value, and this is the range table area, you can say. And this is the value row index number we are going to be specified. And make it as a false for the range lookup. Obviously, if it is does not match with anything that, so it will give as the error value or not mismatched value. And similarly, we are just tokening as a B, and we are also mentioning as a range lookup as a true. So what will happen in this case? It will make and go some of the assumptions with the HLOOKUP, and the range is going to be made as a set is equal to true. The larger value is going to be specified when compared to this. Okay, so the larger value we are just going to specify with corresponding to the B, right? The B is less than. Okay, B is the less than of the value, hence the apple is returned. So this is corresponding to the value when compared to the H lookup what we have. The found is apple, obviously when compared to that it won't give this value as a price of the apple. Similarly, we have index value. You can also see the index is going to be returned what exactly the index specified with respect to that value. So it will return the value from a table based on the sum of the specified row or the columns. So this is a basic syntax of the index. We have a row array and also the row number and the column number. So let's go and discuss in the example wise so that we'll get some familiarity with respect to this. So index we have with respect to the array, and we can also specify the row number and also the column number. It will going to be starts with 1 2 3 4 5 and the 1 2 3 4 5. There's a 5 cross 5 data frame we have. You can also specify like that. And what will happen if you specified with respect to the index, that means the b3 to e5. B3, yeah, this is a B3 to E5. This is the E5. The total values we are going to be showcased. And the second index, that is the second index with corresponding to that. So this is the second index with corresponding to, and the second column, this is the value we're going to income. This is the result we are getting as 2800. Second row and the second column with corresponding to specified index what we have. And you can also see index with corresponding to B3 range to B5. You have to be showcase, okay? You have to showcase every time. You can also mention by using the row number and also the column number. The row number they mention as B3 to B5, and the column wise you can see the C3 to C5. C3 to C5. Okay. So this is the data frame totally we have, I can say. And corresponding to that, D3 to D5 and D3 to D5 as per the row count and also the column count. Okay. So totally we have these three, this much of the data frame we are going to be showcasing. And what will happen? What will happen if you are just mentioning as a 2, comma 1, comma 2? It will go and fetch the second array to be the selected one. Okay, it will go and fetch the second array to be the selected one. In the second array, what exactly the column we have? Similarly, we have a column with 2800 only with respect to this example. Let's go and discuss maybe the sum operator. How does the sum operator included with the index? Sum index B3, this is a very array operator we are going to be specified, and the row number and the column number. So the array we are just specified the B3 to E5 range, B3 to E5 range. This is the range we are going to be specified here. Then it's going to be look onto the row count as a 1, row count as a 1. Okay, so the row count is going to be 1, but the sum of the values is corresponding to the 0. So what will happen if you are entering as a 0? So 0, it will take maybe it returns the row, entire row or the column number. But what will happen if you specify it with respect to the 0? It will show only the first value in the cell. Okay, it will show in the first value in the cell. However, whenever you need to sum out, it will add entire row. Okay, it will add the entire row. This entire row will go in become, and if you sum all of them, you will get this value. Similarly, and Similarly, you can showcase as a B3 index and a B5. So what will happen while we're going to give the return some of the value in the cell, it's throwing some error because you are representing as a different syntax. The syntax may not be works with respect to that. And the entire formula is going to be may not be satisfied. It will completely hang out with corresponding to this kind of the values. So we have match also one of the lookup values operators we are going to be performed with respect to identify some of the values in a list or in a data frame. Return some of the position by using the match. So let's look on to this example match with respect to the lookup value and the array. This is a basic syntax with respect to the match. You can also see here match lookup value, lookup array, the match type. What exactly the match type you're going to be specified with corresponding to the value. The match, we are just matching with the Tom. The Tom we are just matching with, and the 80 to A4. This is A2 to A4. We are just going to be specified with corresponding to the position. The position of the Tom is the top of the list, right? So we're going to be specified as a one, obviously. The position of we are just considering as a B2. B2 is a level. This is the value we are doing. This is also corresponding to the top position. So that's the reason we are taking as one result. So it's just going to return as some position, whether it is in the two, it's going to be as a 2 second position like that. And the offset does it's going to be return some of the number of the rows and the columns. And from the cell you can also specify a number of the range you want to be specified. So this is a basic syntax for the offset reference, and also the rows you want to be specified, the column names and the height and the width you have. So this is a basic syntax I can say. You have a2 that is a 1 and 0 comma 0 that we are just defining as a row count and also the columns we have. So it will return the a2, and as a2 is not offset, right? So that's the reason we are getting as a one result to specify any number of the rows. Okay, so it will return just a reference of a range that is going to be specified or not. And offset the a2 is going to be we are taking as of the a2 value, and we are taking as a row and a column is 1 comma 0. You can see 1 comma 0. This is the only one, right? This is the one and this is a 0. And similarly in the offset we are taking as a a2. Similarly we're taking as a af2. It is not referring any kind of the value with respect to that 0 comma 1 is a 1, right? 0 comma 1. So we are just specifying with respect to the row count and also the column count. So we have another thing called as indirect, with corresponding to the lookup value and also the logical operators what we have. Indirect is going to be help us return some of the reference specified by any text string. Okay. So indirect is does reference strings and also the one any kind of the value going to be specified. So let's take this example. We have A2, A3, A4 examples like 3, hello, and L3. These are some of the values we have. So what will happen if you specify it as an indirect? It's going to be reference, and it's going to be written some of the reference specified by the string. So if I type A2, A2 corresponding value is 3. So indirectly it's going to be given the value corresponding to that. And if I type A3 and also the A2, so A contains some string, return the value. Return the value be in a cell A3 because we consist of the A3 value, right? Indirectly hello nr. The hello nr is going to be written a value named range, hello range, and also the created cell in the A3 range. What we had is going to be used in the indirect and double quotes. You can also specify it like this. Indirect A4. Indirect A4 does. We don't have any kind of the we having the A3 value only. It will refer as A3, right? It will refer as A3 corresponding to the A4 value. It will going to be written whatever the value is present with respect to the. So that's the reason we are getting as A3 value. You can also mention any kind of number what we are going to be specified with corresponding the indirect operator. Yeah, so we have row also. So row what it does, it will return number of the rows. Okay, it will return the number of the rows of the given cells. So we have, so that we have it going to be reference, it's going to be specified. Suppose you're going to be specified as a C6, it's go and see some of the ranges with corresponding to the row count is 6. So like that, it's going to be give us some row number of the given cell of the reference. And the rows is going to be given as return any number of the rows given a reference or array. So let's take this example. You have rows and we are taking from the a1 comma a1. This is the one row count we have. Okay, so this is one row count we have. So it's going to give as a one row, and a1 to a4, a1 to a4. So this is we have up to 4, 1 2 3 4, right? So similarly it will return just the 4 rows, that's it will return just 4 rows. And array you can also specify it will range 1 2 3 4 5 6. So what will happen to specify like this, the comma denotes it as a column and the semicolon denotes it as a now. So we have 1 2, so that's the reason we are getting only 2. Similarly, we have column as a operator in this Excel. It will return the column number of a given cell reference. So whatever the column numbers we are going to be specified, it's just going to give the return that value. That's it. So the columns you can see we haven't mentioned anything, but it's going to be given take consideration with respect to the column number of the current cell what we have. And if you want to specify any column number, we are just specified as C8. Okay, so C8 corresponding to that, what exactly the column numbers we have. In it's going to be written the number of the columns we have. Similarly, we have columns with respect to the column. This is some plural, I can say rows, and some column. These are some of the plurals which we have. Column, what we do is the number of the columns in an array or the any reference number or any reference value, it's going to be given the number of the columns. Okay, so if you go and see any example, columns are again specified within the range, it's going to be given as a 1 because it is the only one. If you want to specify any kind of the range from a1 to d1, okay, a1 to d1, okay, these are the number of the rows 1 2 3 4. So that's why we are getting the 4 numbers. If we want to specify in the range with respect to the comma and the semicolon, it's going to be give with respect to separated by the semicolon. That's the reason we are getting as a 3. So we already have semicolon with respect to that specified with the number of the values. So we can also discuss more onto these topics maybe after couple of the coming sessions. Thank you. Yeah, hi Al. So today we are going to discuss something called as logical formations and also the lookup. How does the lookup is going to help us in the Excel format? So let's take a look onto this Excel sheet. What are the different terminologies we are going to be showcased in the logical formation? So most of the people already know about the some of the truth tables what we have with respect to the 11th grade and also the 12th grade. We have already done some of the operations with respect to the and or some of the logical operators we're going to be discussed, right? Maybe in the 11th or 12th grade you also end up with some of the truth tables to showcase with corresponding these operators. So let's go and detail more into the logical operators what we have in the Excel sheet. So and is going to be helpful whenever you're going to be showcased as a two numbers, where the first number and the second number going to be true. The resultant is giving as a true table like positive and the positive you will get as a positive value. The positive and the negative you will get as a negative value. So like that we have learned. So let's also understand the definition. How does that going to help us with the and or logical operator? So it will return the true value whenever you give has both the operators, both the values going to be true. And if any one of the values is going to be false, it's going to be written as a false statement. So this is a basic syntax for and. You can also type if you want to specify the and in the Excel sheet. It's going to give us the same thing with respect to that. And if you want to perform any kind of the operators, okay, so if you want to perform any kind of the operator, this is a very basic syntax to analyze it. You can also apply to the any kind of formulae, and also the any kind of the operator that you need to specify more about it. Yeah, so let's go and discuss this more onto and the true and the false statement. What exactly the false statement we are going to be handled with respect to that. So if I enter the and along with the true and the false operator, the one value is false, so it's going to be written as a false condition. So that we already know. So the two operators are going to be false. It's also given as a false statement. So let's look onto this real-time example. 3 is greater than 1. Yeah, this is true. And 3 is equal to 3. This is something we had to be, yeah, it's also going to be true, right? True, comma, true. So we are going to be written as a true condition with respect to the and operator. And if you want to specify with the Boolean kind of the stuff in a value like true or false, so this is also going to be returned. Double true means we are going to be getting it as a true statement only, right? With respect to the result. So similarly, 3 comma 2, any positive integer is going to be considered as a true only. So it's going to be given as a true by the condition to apply with the AND operator. Similarly, with 0, it's going to be considered as a false. Okay, 1 is considered as a true. In any Boolean operators, you're going to be take consideration in the computer science. So that if you enter as a 0 value, it's going to be given as a false condition, and the next operator, whatever it is, but does not matter with the AND operations. Whenever you encounter any kind of the false statement, it's going to be given as a false. Okay, so you can see the all false statements we are going to be showcased with corresponding to that. So let's we can also perform maybe the OR operator. OR operator does whenever you're going to be giving some of the two values, it will return the true whenever the argument is the true, and it is in the false whenever all the arguments are going to be false. Okay, so let's go and discuss more onto the. We already know about the OR operator and the truth tables. We have when we have the false only, it's going to be given as a false condition. Remaining all the cases, it's going to be given as a true value, right? Yeah, so if I enter the truth value for the first value and the second value for the false statement, it's going to be written as a value for the true, obviously. So eventually we're going to be showcased as any kind of operator in the truth tables also. It's going to be given as a one value to according to the remaining all the values going to be zero. Yeah, so for the one value we're going to be taking as true condition, and what exactly the false conditions we are going to be taken. At this time also we have one at least one true conditions in our value set, so it's going to be given as a true value only. In case you don't have any kind of the true values in your value data set that corresponding to the OR operator, it going to be returned the false condition. Similarly, you can also play around with some of the examples which I have shared with you, and some of the operators like a Boolean operators, they are going to be considered as a value. If it is going to be false, that's going to be given as a false result, and if it is going to be the true only, it's going to be given as a true condition. Similarly, we can also show maybe the not operator. This is very you can say this is very kind of reverse operator to our logic operator what we just learned. So it will return whatever the true conditions we have that became as a false, and whatever the false conditions we have that became as a true. So like that it's going to be performed whatever the reverse operator we have. So whatever the true conditions we have, it's going to be become as a false. Whatever the false conditions we have, it's going to be become as a true. So eventually what will happen is complete opposite to whatever the equations or whatever the conditions we make in our logical operations. So let's go and discuss with the true also. So whenever you enter some of the operations with respect to the true kind of the thing, it will be give as a true value. So it exactly does it. exactly does the two formulae, whatever we have encountered with the two Boolean operators. There is no arguments also some of the cases. It won't be works with some of the arguments also. It may not be include the parameters some of the times. It will eventually give as a result as a true. If you make it as a false statement, similar the case with respect to the false statement, it's going to give as a false. So whatever the input values are going to be make it as a false. No need to go to the operators or operations wise. So in that case, you make it as a false results. Similarly, Similarly, we have a if condition. If logic statement is going to help us. If the statement is correct or if the condition is going to be correct, what exactly the written value is. So eventually, you're going to be look onto the formulation. If what it does, it's going to be give as some conditions. It's going to evaluate some of the conditions and return some of the value. Whether it is going to be correct, it's going to be give as a true condition. If it's not going to be correct, it's going to be give as false condition. So this is basic syntax, I can say. If we're going to be test some of the logic or some of the conditions according to that, then it's going to be give the value according to it is good true conditions or the false condition. So let's go and check out how does our conditions going to be help us and what are the written statement is going to take consideration. So I had declared a2 is equal to 20. You can also see 20 is greater than 10. Yeah, this is a true condition. Then it's going to become to written as a right condition. If it is a false statement, it's going to be written as a wrong. Like that, it's going to be works out. The first statement is going to be written whenever our condition is satisfied. The second statement is going to be written whenever the condition is false. Similarly, you can showcase we have not entered the second condition or the first condition, whatever the condition we made, whatever the condition we made, but eventually what will happen? It's going to be omit as a zero kind of the value in the backend system. Similarly, you can see this example. If this condition is satisfied, it may be go to this statement or it may not be go to this statement, but eventually it's going to be omitted, or you can say the false condition or the true conditions. It will be returned eventually whenever the condition is satisfied. It's going to be written as a true, or it's also going to be written as a zero kind of the statement. So we're going to be discuss maybe if error. So the if error is going to be help us. Let's go and check on the definition. How does it going to be help us? So this is a formula to evaluate to any type of error. Okay, so that if whenever you encounter some of the errors, is going to be written some specified values according to that. Okay, so else it's going to be written as a similar kind of the results. Yeah, you can see the syntax. If error, we have a value, and according to that value, if error. So let's go and check out some of the examples. So here I have already written as a2 is equal to 100, a3 is equal to 10, and a4 is equal to 0. So what will happen if I enter a2 by a3? That means 100 by 10. So it is eventually give that condition statement, but this is going to be give as a 10 results. That's obvious. We are not going to return as any kind of the error. This is satisfied condition. Secondly, I'm just taking 10 by 0. So in this case, 10 by 0 is undefined, or you can say infinity value. So it's keep iterating themselves. That is the reason it make it as a false, and it's going to print as error result. So what if I will enter without any kind of the error result? It's nothing to do It's nothing to do specifically any kind of error you're going to be showcased, but it's going to be written as a zero. That means a false statement you're just encountering with respect to that. Otherwise, it's going to be given as a error value if you want to be specified anything. And similarly, we have another logical operator is we have so many I can say is we're having some of the formula family. So what exactly it does. Yeah, hi. So we have similarly with respect to the text formulas and also the statistics formulas we are going to be operate in the Excel. So let's go and check out some of the text formulas what we have and how to handle it with respect to the text formulas in the Excel. So we have some different formulas like left and the right and mid and the length, lower, proper. So let's go and discuss with respect to corresponding to all these operators. How does that going to help us in these examples? So the left is going to be help us when it's going to be written some of the number of specified characters from the beginning to beginning of the text string. So you have a text like this. Some hello is a text in we are going to be used in the left formula. So the left, this is a basic syntax. You can also do the syntax is a left, and we have to showcase any kind of the text are going to be specified in the number of the cell. We can also specify the characters. So what will happen if you type as a left, it will extract the two characters from the left of the text hello. So the text hello is going to be extracted H and E. That's the result we are going to be get. So if you want to specify the cell, that is also fine. Currently we are using as a A2. You can also specify the cell with respect to that. And if you want only for the text with respect to the left operator, you're going to be handler. What exactly it does? It initially it's going to be taken as a first character from the left and it's going to be extracted and given as a result. Similarly, you want to be specified more number of the text results you're going to be specified. That is out of the range or greater than of the length of the text. So what will happen to specify the out of the range? It's going to be given as a total number of the text what we have or the length what we have. If you're not going to be specified any kind of the text with going to be results of the number of the characters you want to be written, it may not be give as any output. So that is a blank statement we're going to be get at the end. And if you want to be specified with respect to the reverse order, or okay, if you want to be specified with respect to the minus one kind of this thing, it may not be through any kind of the value because the text doesn't handle about exactly the reverse order for a given text. Similarly, we have right operator. So same syntax, it's going to be just extracted from the right of the text. That's it. Instead of taking from the left to right, it's going to be operate from the right to left. That is a basic syntax to represent it as right and also the left. Okay, so let's go and discuss quickly what are the different examples we have with respect to the right. So the right, you're going to be specified with the hello. If you are just explaining to the number of the character to extract two. So you can see one, two. It's going to be specified as a two characters. You can also specify by using the self. And if you don't want to be specified any kind of the character, initially it's going to be taken as a oh, okay. So the reverse order is going to be come from right to left. You can also see a right operator if a number of elements is going to be out of the range or out of the length. It's going to be taking consideration from the right to left. That is the right to left, whatever all the values we have. Similarly, you want to be specified with respect to the zero without any kind of the information with respect to the number of characters. Obviously, we're going to be get as same we also seen with respect to the left and also the right. So the different information with respect to the right and also the left. And if you want to be written any kind of the value within the negative statement, it will give us a null value or not defined value. Yeah. So similarly, we have a mid with respect to the right and also the left. Okay. So mid, what it does, it will extract the two characters or it, okay. So how many number of the characters you want to be specified from the first of the character. That is a basic syntax. So you can also see the syntax. The mid that you're given as some text and start number and whatever the number of the characters you want to be specified. From that onwards is going to be extract the results. So I am specified with respect to the text hello and the corresponding start, you can say starting number, that is one. Okay, that is one. And you can see the number we are going to be respected with respect to the heap. From this, we are going to be just extracted with respect to that. And similarly, you can also mention by using that. And if you want to be specified out of the range, what will happen? It may not be through any kind of the results because out of the range is a 15, right? So that may not be possible to with respect to that. Yeah, if you go to maybe the other example with respect to the length is going to be given number of the characters in a string. That's it. So we have total number of the length or total number of the characters we have as a 5. So that is the reason we are getting as a 5. The total number of the length with respect to this cell also corresponding to that. The total number of the string is corresponding to that is a 3. And see, similarly, you can also specify with respect to the any kind of the cells you want to be. You can also operate by using the lower. What it does, convert all into the lowercase format. Okay, if you want to be specified hello in the uppercase, or maybe in this case, some of the characters kind of the uppercase and also the lowercase, it will directly throw into the lowercase and it will convert from you can say convert from uppercase to lowercase. If you go and check out some of the examples in this case, it will going to throw as values with respect to that, and uppercase of the characters then be changed to the lowercase. We have also the uppercase. So this is a very you can say reverse of order with respect to that. Whatever the lowercase characters we have, it will convert to the uppercase. So if we have this example hello, this is in the lowercase, it will convert into the uppercase. Like that, we are going to be just mentioned with respect to that. Special characters also will be allowed, but what will happen? It may not be change anything such specific kind of order. Something called as a proper, what it does, it will capitalize the first character and it will go and give as a similar kind of the results. So this is some of the excels we have going to be showcased. You can also see these are some of the text we are going to be showcased with respect to that. It's going to be give as the same results with respect to that. And just to operate, and first character is going to be, you can say first character is going to be capital, and second all the characters going to be with the same manner. And something called as a find, you can see here, find will going to be help us to search any kind of element, to search any kind of the text with respect to the text strings we have. It will go and search with respect to the column or specified, or you can say within the text. So the basic syntax of the find is find and find text within the text, and the number of start number, what is the start number we're going to be specified. So if you're going to be specified with a range of the find so you're going to be find some text in A2. So in this Excel as a word in this. So you are going to be specified as a E. So it will go and return the find specified the text with another text. Okay, so you can also see that we are just finding with occurrences of the E in the text. It does not give as the start number, but it uses as some default number as a one. Similarly, you can see the find with respect to finding a E corresponding to the value of E2. So whenever you're going to be showcased as a one, okay, that is the start number. So if you are going to be returned with respect to the first occurrences of the E in the Excel specified, the start number is going to one in this case. Similarly, find some of the first occurrences of the E in this Excel, and in this Excel only. So note that what will happen, the find in this case is a very sensitive, because we have is the capital and also the smaller. So it will return the 4, because the small is having very matching with this kind of the number. It's somewhat case sensitive. Okay, so you can see them, we are just matching with B2 and A2. So B2 value having E and the A2 value having you can say Excel. So in this case, first occurrences of the E is going to be specified with corresponding to that. That is a one result. And you can also see find B2 A3 comma 2. That means we are just specified the text and also the within the text, and the starting number is 2. So it will find occurrences the value B2. Okay, you find the occurrences value of the B2, which is E, and but starts within the second string, and it does not mean it does not count the first E, and it also the count the first E as well, and but it is ignored the starting from the second onwards. So, okay, so we are going to be specified with corresponding to these values. That is the reason we are getting as 11. And we have another operator with respect to the Excel replace as an operator. This is going to be very helpful whenever you want to be replace some old text to the new text. You can also directly use maybe control H. That is also going to be help us to replace some of the characters with corresponding to it. This window is going to be very helpful when compared to directly doing these operators. Okay. So you can also search by using control F. This is also very works. If you want to be replaced with anything, control H. This is a replace with that old text and the new value. Yeah, the same syntax what we just discussed. Old text and also the new number you're going to be specified in the start range and also the whatever the new text we have. So we have you can see that we have just we want to replace. Okay, we want to replace some number, or you can say A B C D kind of the number we're going to be replaced. Some eight, yeah. So for 5 is the starting number and 4 is the number of the characters we have, and this is some new text. So we are going to be replace the text with corresponding to this number of the formation. Yeah, you can say it will starts with fifth character. It will starts with fifth character, replace E and replace the 4 characters and EFGH, and within it's going to be given as an asterisk symbol. Similarly, it will do the other operations, whatever you want to be specified. If you want to specify it in the reverse order, it may not be works out. It will be going to be specified in any start number or the number of characters. It may not be works out with respect to the negative values what we have. And the substitute also will be the same when compared to replace. It's going to be substitute something. Some of the existing text we want to be specified into the new text that you're going to be add within the range of the text. So I'm just substituting this string in this string as the value of old text in terms of new value of Z, and some of the instances number we are going to be specified. You can see all A are going to be replaced with respect to the Z. And here also we are just doing some same thing, but what will happen, we are just specifying instances by 3 replaced by a third number of A. That's it. And you can see we are also specified with the range of Z. In the instance number, you're not specified, all the instances going to be replaced in this case. And what will happen if you specify it as a 1, and for the substitute is case sensitive, obviously. What will happen is it does not find any A, right? So it changes nothing. That's the reason. And if you want to specify negative, it may not be works out. And if you want to specify any kind of special characters, it will be works for the numbers, special characters, and also the. And for the text, I can say for the text, these are some of the text we are going to be encounter to write any kind of the text. So this is somehow we just represented to analyze whatever the text we are going to be follow with that. So you can see this is some of the text we are going to be handling, and from the A2 we are going to be, so by using this we are going to be get Tom did sales like this. So you can also write, and you can also take by using the text. Okay, text is going to be very helpful. Change some of the formats, add 2 decimals. This is also very good example. Create some of the text, some desired format and the sales numbers. And for this text, we are just adding some creating text with this as some of the format from the sales number and also the month. So let's also discuss with some of the statistical formulas what we have and how to represent with respect to that. Some of the statistics formulas we are going to be showcased as a count, averages, minimum, maximum, and average if else, and some of the large, small, count if. So let's go and discuss with the average. So average we already know about the arithmetic mean, right? So it is going to be calculated number of the observation by total number of the observation. That is a count of the results. So if you want to be specified with respect to any kind of the results within the range, suppose we are taking this number of the values at the average, it will give as average value. So this is a basic syntax for this average. You can give any kind of the range or the number of the values. So I'm taking from A2 to A4, and the total number of the count is 20. So okay, so that's going to be written as total number of the average with respect to that. It is a one value and the second value is 20. Similarly, you can also take the average with respect to A2 to A5. Since A5 is a blank, right? So A5 is a blank, we don't have any kind of the specific value. It is going to be ignored. The blanks and some of the text is going to be ignored. We have only calculated with respect to the number side. So because of that, the results is going to be corresponding to whatever the numbers we have. Yeah, so in this case, what will happen? It will go and return A2 to A6. You can just specify A2 to A6. So in this range, we have A5 is a blank, and it is going to be ignore that value. A6 is a 0. It may not be conclusion in the calculation. So these three numbers are calculated divided by 3. Then we're going to be showcased as this wrong. Similarly, we have something called as the average if. The basic difference between the average and average if is it's going to be written as an arithmetic mean, but what will happen? We are going to be specific some of the criteria with respect to the average. So by given range, we are going to be specified as a criteria. Okay, so we're going to be this is very simple syntax for the average if. Okay, so taking some average and criteria along with average age. So taking some range, so A2 to A6, I'm taking some range, and we are going to be specified as a criteria as a tom. Okay, so this is a criteria we're going to be specified. So what will happen if you specify some criteria and also you are doing some average range with respect to the B2 and B6? This is the range we are going to be specified. So it will go and return the average. That means whatever the mean value for all the cells, we are just corresponding to it. And the criteria is mostly with respect to the tom. Okay, it meets the criteria. Then yeah, that means it will give all the average whatever the tom consider have. Okay, yes. So you can see average with respect to the A2 to A6. This is the average we are going to be setting. So whatever the tom results we are going to be calculate, you will take that average and give the results in the first cell. And the second cell, we are going to be mentioned as a criteria as A. What will does? Average of all the values for the names that will alphabets A. Okay, this contains A and this contains A. So like that, we are going to be get good results. Average results. Average B2 B6, B2 to B6. This is the range we are going to be specified. And we have mentioned something called as the above 10. So above 10, this is a value, this is a value, this is a value. So this is a criteria matches. It's going to be calculated the average. That's it. And similarly, we have average if. So average ifs is nothing but it will return the average. That means automatic operator, but meeting with some of the multiple criteria instead of only one criteria. We are just specified with a greater than 10 like that symbols. So if you want to specify the multiple criteria, this is the basic syntax with respect to the arrangements of the criteria you are going to be specified. So what will happen? Average ifs the C3 to C5. Okay, C3 to C6. This is a we are going to be take the consideration of these values. What will happen if you mention criteria as about 10? So it will take this value, this value, this value, except of seventh value. And then it will again ask with respect to the other cells A3 to A6. In this criteria, the criteria is papaya. Okay, papaya as a criteria, only the one value with respect to that. So it will calculate all the results with respect to that, and average whenever the quality is greater than the 10 and the fruit is not papaya. So that is a basic averaging we are just showing as a multiple conditions with respect to that. And in this situation, we are taking as average ifs C3 to C6, same this price results we are going to be take consideration. That is going to be greater than of the 15, and the fruit name is going to be fruit name is going to be starts with you can say P. Okay, any kind of the alphabet consists of P. It go and give that value, taking some of the average results. So the P, you can say full name has a P alphabet in it. Okay, the P we have in this, and we can also have with respect to, yeah. So the papaya having the full name and is also greater than the 15, right? So that is a C3 to C6 we are just taking consideration. This is the values we have. It must be greater than 15. We have greater than 15 this one and also this one. 32 plus 20 by 2. So we're going to be get that result as a 52 by 2. That is a 26. That is the value we are going to be get. And similarly, count, you can see count is going to be help us number of the cells and some of the row count and also the value count. So what will happen if you specify to A2 to A6 in this range, A2 to A6, the range it's going to be give as total number of the cells that contains the number. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So we have the total number. This is not, none, right? So we have only the three values within the space range specified. And what will happen with the count A, something called as a count A, it will go and give the count number of the cells. Those are empty. We already seen these examples, right? And something called as a count blank. So whatever the blank values we have in this count, it's going to be given. We have only the one blank value. This is just A4. And what is the count if? Count if it's going to be give the number of the cells within the range and that meets some of the criteria. Okay, so count if what will happen, you're going to be specified some range. This is the range we have specified. In this range, I'm going to be specified as a greater than 10 value. I'm going to return that how many number of the counts. We have one, and yeah, only one and two. Yeah, 12 is also there, right? One and two. And we're going to be specified with the range that will text with A. So we have text with A 1, 2, 3, 4. We have four values, right? So that is going to be given. And if what will happen, count all the cells that have the text with apple in it. Okay, we have apple in it and apple in it. 2. That is a 2. And what will happen, count if we are going to be specified within the range to count number of the values what we have. Count all the cells, we have the text in it. Okay, we have the text within it, we have the four text, right? So we are going to give that value. And similarly, with respect to the count ifs, the basic difference between the count if and count ifs is we are taking, instead of only one criteria, we are taking multiple criteria. That's it. Whenever you see some s, it's going to be given as multiple criteria to meet with respect to corresponding operators you're going to be specified. So in this case, we are just taking care of the counting all the cells corresponding to the number of conditions we are just applying to it. So in this case, we are just taking care of the B3 to B6 value range. This is the range we are going to be taking care, and we are just matching with greater than 10. This is the greater than 10 two values we have, and it's also matching with A values. Yes. So the number of the results is 2. And similarly, counting the number of the cells that have matched with A, right? So we have four values, it's going to be written as a 4. And similarly, count all the cells within the range of A3 to A6 that have the text apple in it, and at the same time the time cell is going to be B3 to B4, and that have the greater than the 20 value. We don't have that much of result to integrate with respect to the apple. That's a result is very 0. And the large is the operator. It's going to be written k the largest value in the data sets. You can say in this data set, large value is going to be given by using the large operator. Okay, so I'm taking this range. Okay, what is the exact large value? 7 is the largest value. Okay, for this data set. And if you want to specify any kind of the number with respect to that, that is also fine. Kth largest. Okay, if you want to be specified second largest, you can specify by using the second. If you want to specify by using the first or third, that is up to you. So if you return as a second largest number from that list, and small also will do the same. You can also specify it within the range to second smallest number, third smallest number, first smallest number, like that. That is also going to be performed within the range or within some corresponding values you're going to be specified. And very interesting operator called as a rank. What exactly the rank does, it will go and return rank of the number in a list of the numbers. So the basic syntax of the rank is number you're going to be specified, and reference, and also the order. That is very helpful to get the rank of the number. So what will happen if you specify this range? So this is a formula, right? So rank, we're taking consideration with respect to this range, A2 to A6. So what will happen with corresponding to the number we want to be specified to get the rank of the number in the list of the numbers? So in this case, we are just taking consideration of the A2 to A5. So it will return a rank of the first, okay, first from the list. And what exactly the Excel by default, the Excel is going to be help us. Default, it takes ascending order. Okay, by default, it's going to be take as ascending order of all these elements. And also, what will happen since we are going to be do some ascending order, it will take both threes and get the second rank and also the first rank of the fourth. That's how it's going to be works out. That's the reason we are getting as a fourth. We're just encountering with three value, right? That's the reason. If you just go and discuss with some ascending order, it will be encountering as a fourth value with respect to it. Okay, so we have something called as a max will going to be help us to return the maximum value of a list, whatever the values we have. So see here we have a values from A2 to A4. You can see if you just enter pass to this, the maximum value of this, it's going to be pass. Similarly, what we just seen with respect to large, and the minimum value also, whatever the range you want to be specified, that going to be give as the minimum value. If you want to be specified the out of the range, it may not be take that consideration. And if you want any kind of the error or miss kind of numbers, it won't give, it will throw an error. So these are some fundamental statistics operations, and also the we have seen lookup operators, and we have seen some other operators with corresponding to text formulas. So let's also more discuss about some other operators in the future sections. Thank you. Hello all. So we have already discussed some of the other formulas with respect to the logical and also the text formatting formula. Let's also more focused on the date kind of the formulas what we have. So since we already know about some of the formulas to how to return, how to get the fetch from the basic data frames what we have, and some of the row count or the value counts we're going to be expected from that. Similarly, we have with the day. Okay, so it will go and return the specific day or the specified date between in the 1 to 31st, like the day what we have in a month. It takes from some of the several serial numbers of a date, and it's going to be showcased as an input according to that. So I have a date functions here. You can see here I have a date kind of the of values with respect to that. So I have a date format with respect to the March 5th date and 2014 like that. And according to the values corresponding to the some of the year, and also you can say the month and specific range of the date. So if I type as a date with respect to some value 41699, it will return the day number, the ranging from 1 to 31st what we have. So it will go and discuss with respect to this kind of the number and the given serial number. Here 41699 represent as 1 March, and this is a March value, and 1 March and 2014 it's going to be written as a value of the 1. So like that we're going to be give some of the informative with respect to the day wise. We can also mention by using any kind of the specific manner with respect to that. And you can also specify it by using returning some of the formulae with some of the results. So this is a basic syntax formula. You can also showcase here on the formula bar. So if I go to this range, so if I go to this range, what will happen? Yeah, let's go on to this. So day equals to day A3. So the A3 is 1. Okay, 1 divided by, you can just, we just giving a separator for the divided by operator. And the name next is a value 3, 1, 3. And the next is a value of the year A5, right? So the date is 1. So that's the reason we are getting as a 1. You can also specify it by using, I can say, by using the date format, whatever the date format is going to be specified. And the day today also you can mention. Today is going to be take consideration and it's going to be execute the result. And similarly, you can also mention to add 10 days. And okay, so the subtract some of the 10 days before like that also you can mention to get the more clarity between the dates with respect to the operator. Similarly, we have hour also. Hour is going to be return the number of the hours. Okay, the hour going to be specified within the time or the day range. Obviously, we have 24 hours. It's going to be range between the 0 to 24 or 23. And if you want to be specified any time consist of with respect to that, it's going to be the value with respect to this. What will happen if I mention the hour A2? So the hours is going to be calculated with respect to that. AM is a zero. Okay, it's going to be beginning of the day. So the hours may not be calculated with respect to the 12. And what will the 3? So it will identify the 3 p.m. It starts with 12 a.m. and after 3 p.m. it's going to be count how much is the hours we are going to be calculated. What will happen with respect to the A4? We haven't mentioned AM or PM. So at this time, Excel will take in consideration as a AM, okay, by default. And if you're not specified any range with respect to the 141699, so decimal value, it's going to be converted to represent some, you can say represent some of the hours calculations in between the seconds or minutes, and then it's going to be represented with respect to some value. That is the 3 hours we are going to be calculated if we have mentioned some of the value with respect to that. And if you want to specify any kind of adding or subtracting with respect to the time over, it will give as exact results. I'm just adding with respect to whatever 3 hour timestamps we have. This is going to be give as a 13 results. Similarly, we have minute. Okay, the minute is going to help us returning the minute value with a specified timestamp what we have. Obviously, the value between the 0 to 59, it's going to be given within the range of the 60 minutes. So these are some date formats we have. So let's jump onto this. So if you are going to be declared with any kind of time results, so it will return the minutes. The number of returns is going to be counted. Currently it is zero only, right? So the mentioned between the zero, it starts with also 12 a.m. The beginning of the hour it's going to be zero at least. And if you want to specify 3:30, the 30 minutes are going to be mentioned as a time period, right? So the 15th hour of the day. Similarly, A4, you can also see the 320 minutes, like 20 minutes going to be specified. And this is the value range we already discussed. This 41699 is corresponding. If you're going to calculate within terms of the seconds, you're going to be get the 9 hours and the 50 minutes and 24 seconds. As if you want to add and subtract, that is also fine with us. Similarly, the date we already see, we're going to be get the current date and also the previous date if you just add and subtract by using that. So we have so many number of the date formats we are going to be showcasing these examples. It will return the serial the number of the particular date and which is the date and the month and also the year going to be specified. So currently we are just specified with 2014 month and the day as a one. If you want to be showcased as a date formula, this is a very basic syntax. Here we can specify in the different format that is also very consistable, but this is a very standard approach to follow. First the year and second month and third is day. And if you're going to be get in terms of a series of particular date or the day and the day month, so we are just returning some of the date serial of the number. In general, the format is going to be set up. So in this example, we are just specified with respect to 2014 and the 3 and the 1. And the result is going to be get in the serial number. And it's going to be written as a value of the date as a date format. And similarly, we are just taking consideration of the A3 value as a year and a B3 value as a month and the day 3 as a value of C3. So if you want to be specified the serial number, but display has also the date format, this is a very basic approach to follow it. If you want to just put some of the day element, okay, and the 14 instead of the 24, that's directly going to be pick up the value. But it Excel interpreters starts from 1940. Okay, so that's a reason for 24 you have to specify it with corresponding to that value. Then only it's going to understood, because it is the best way to always use the 4 digits here. Okay, to avoid some of the confusion with respect to the Excel to make. And you can also specify the greater than 0 or more than the 10,000. So currently we are using, if the month we're going to be specified as a -1, how does that going to behave first? It's going back towards that. It will give, it will give the month you just specified with corresponding to the 1st of January, right? It will go to the back. The first is the December and the second is the November. So you will get the 23rd in November value. And if you want to specify any kind of, if you want to specify any kind of the month to specify it in a manner of above the 12, if you're going to be discussed with adding some of the extension with the next year. So currently we are using as a 2014 13, you can see here. And if you want to be add with respect to the 13 month, it's going above that, that is January of the 2015. And if you want to be showcased as a date, okay, date is a -10, it will goes back to the 10 days back, and it's given as a previous month and also the written as its date. Similarly, you can also showcase as a more than whatever the dates we have. It will calculate the day according to that, and 31st is the last date with respect to the month. Then it's again added to the next couple of the 10 days. And you, if you want to be specified to include or exclude with respect to the number of the days, that is also fine with respect to, but you have to mention properly with respect to the date or the month or the year. Then it's going to give the same results. And we have something called as a date value also. What it does, it's going to be convert some of the date that is going to be stored in a text. Okay, that's going to be stored in a text, and to the serial number that Excel going to be recognize some of the date value. The date value, the basic syntax of the date value, and some of the date text we have. So this is this is string format. Okay, so corresponding to this, the date value as a string format, with respect to the hyphens or with respect to the divided symbol, with respect to some of the special characters which going to be included in the date. So what will happen if you give the date value? It will return the date serial number according to the date value as a text. Then it's going to be give some of the values in terms of setting of the format with respect to the DDY, and also the, you can say, MMDDY as the anti-clockwise direction, and also the normal direction we're going to be specified. So these are very simple basic examples with respect to the date value. And something called as a today. So today is going to be help us. It's just going to return some of the serial number of the current date what we have. So if we take this example consideration, today we have some number, it's going to be given with respect to the today's date, and today's plus a2, so it's going to be calculated with respect to the next 10 days what we have. And the date today, it's going to be give as which date it is. And it's also month return the value if you want to be specified year, if you want to be specified with corresponding to that. That's a basic difference between any kind of you can say any kind of operators in the today's date. Okay, so yeah, so now is also very interesting operator, I can say, in the return some of the serial numbers of the current date and also the timestamp with respect to that. So now we're going to be help us to return any kind of now, like current date and also the current timestamp you want to be showcased. Like now is a basic syntax just for understanding. You just declare some of the parameters according to it. If you want to be showcased as a date and also the timestamp, you can declare by using the date and timestamp. And a weekday is going to be help us whenever you want to be retrieve some of the weekdays. So you want to be retrieve the weekdays, and you can specify with the serial number according to the any return time you want to be showcased. So I have a two dates here. Okay, so I want to return with regarding the a2 value. So the weekday the equal to weekday, and whatever the date format we had, it will return what exactly the weekday is. So except by default it consider this is seventh day of the weekend. So there's a reason we're going to be get as the weekday. And if I give a2, this is the value I'm just passing to the weekday, and comma 2, comma is nothing but it's going to be written some of the type. Return type as a two specified, that is a Monday, and this is corresponding to the seventh. I mean, the seventh is the Sunday, right? Hence, it's going to be written as a six, as a Saturday. Then, if you want to be specified any number with respect to this date, okay, the weekday is going to be calculated. So weekday function is going to be works out stored as a text, obviously. Similarly, you can also specify it by using any kind of the date that's going to be works out with the entire text. So something called as a network days. So network days, it's going to be help us with the taking whole number of whole working days. So between the some 2 days and working days, excluding some of the weekends, you can say, and some any dates identify to like a holiday, like that results. It will going to be identify what are the number of the holidays we are going to be handling within a week or within a year. We want to specify with the range or start date at the end date, number of the holidays. So some of the cases it will works out well. Some of the locations may not be works out well because we need to hand load with corresponding location. Then only it's going to be works out. With respect to network days, Intel. Okay, so what it does, number of the days is going to be returned for the work days, and between some of the work days, and is going to be returned other than the Sundays and Saturdays, some of the excluding weekends, and some you can say some any days going to be identified, some holidays or public holidays or government holidays. And workday also, I can say workday is very helpful operator in this case, because we're going to be get some the date after before, or you can say some of the working days with compared to that. Workday, especially whatever the number of the working days you're going to be handled with corresponding to the date, that's it. It is going to be returned the number of the dates, okay, or after 100 days, or that might be excluding some of the weekends maybe. Same similarly, workday. Okay, so it's going to give the number of the dates after or before the given working hours. So it basically does the same thing. Workday initialization and the start date you're going to be handled with. It does not work out. It's going to be include the Sundays and Saturdays. That's it, folks. We're going to be discuss more detail in the next videos regarding what we already discussed. These are some of the operators. We can also functionalities with respect to some of the other examples. Thank you.